Roger would be sitting over here, he never talked, and I thought perhaps he might even be mute, just didn't speak. But as the years progressed, I'll tell you, the Roger that existed after my kids were born is a different Roger that existed prior to that. My kids, and I'm sure that was not outside of what God was doing in Roger's life, mellowed Roger a lot. Because he was pretty aggravating in the early years that I knew him. But Roger spent a lot of time at the shop. It gave him a place to go each day for the cleaners. And if there was a project that we were working on, and it was something I couldn't quite manage to figure out, Roger would study it a little while, and he'd make a drawing of it, and he'd go home, and he'd come back the next day, and he'd have a drawing of just exactly how that would work, and here's what we need to do. And I'm not kidding you, 99 times out of 100, that's exactly what it needed, and it worked. His mind was, he went to school in New York after high school in a trade school, but that's not where he got his knowledge. Roger was a very, very gifted man. Had abilities. They were just amazing, and I'm gonna miss him. I've been missing him. It was interesting to see how in the later weeks of his life, because Roger was so self-sufficient, and he was so capable. He never really asked anybody for anything. You guys know that. He was a giver. But when you have a disease like he had, that's taken away from you. And you begin to rely on family and friends. And so we watched Roger go from a very capable person to a very incapable person. And I'm sure it was hard for him because of his nature. But God used that time in a miraculous way. Roger would allow us to love on him. He never really, not physically before. But he would, when you're being fed by your family members, that gives you a different perspective. But I think his perspective changed. And I think God was working on his heart. Because as we began to see the later weeks of his illness taking his life, and he became resolute with what was actually happening, there was a demeanor change in Roger. There was a change that existed. And it was confirmation to us that God was actually working in his life. Anyway, I won't ramble on. You guys know David's going to come up and say a couple words and close out. And we're going to go next door and eat. But I just want to thank you for being his friend. Roger's friends, I look around the room and Liz told Roger a week or so before he died that Roger did not choose his friends. God chose Roger's friends. You guys were exactly what Roger needed. I look at John Schott, who just flew in from Maine to visit. You guys all had a great impact on Roger. And obviously he had an impact on you, but you meant the world to him. You did, and I know you miss him. thank you, John, for coming in. Thank you guys who came from miles and miles to come. It's a great honor to have you here. Thank you.